Hello, film and media students of Arkansas. My name is Dustin Mapes, and I work for one of the largest civic communications office in the state, the Springdale Public Schools Communications Department. In my job, I create videos, make graphics, run live streams, do social media, basically all things communication. Since 2013, though, I have been a freelance video editor, and for 3 of those years, freelance video editing was my only source of income. Last year, at Ozark Media Arts Festival 2019, I presented the workshop we're about to see, and it was all about freelance work. It's a basic roadmap for how to get started in a career for digital media through freelance work. I am a little bit different than many of the professionals I work with today in Springdale because I don't have a college degree. Without my experience doing freelance work, I don't know if I could have really broken into a professional job. Reason why? I don't know how I could have proven what I could do. I don't have a degree that says this person can do this, signed by this person who is credible for these reasons. All I had was the work I'd done, but that was enough. Being a freelancer is a lot more than just making money. It's also about building up your history of work so that you can show what you are capable of as a digital media creator. My intention for putting together this workshop last year was to share the perspective of a freelancer and provide some tips that if I had had when I started off, I could have saved myself a lot of trouble. But I also reached out to other freelancers to get their perspective. A graphic designer, a photographer, even a programmer shared with me what they know and how they operate so that I could incorporate their perspective in this presentation as well. So even though I'm talking specifically about being a freelance video editor, many of the concepts that I speak about in this presentation can be applied to other fields of freelance work as well. After the presentation concludes, I'm going to jump right back in just like I am now, follow up on a few of the points I talked about last year, and provide a few extra resources that can help you negotiate with future potential clients. So without any further preamble, let's start the presentation. Hello everybody, how's it going? Today for this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about the freelance process, how to get started through completing your first job, how you can connect with clients, and like the ones that I worked for, and the pros and cons of freelance work. So if you have an interest in starting your own business or working at your own pace, there's a lot of helpful tips that I've come across over the years that I'm going to share. And I want to help you guys because when I was your age, in many ways, I didn't know how to get started. I didn't know where to go. So I think if I had something like this, it would have really helped me. So it's sort of a crash course on one potential path for you, but it's a path that has a lot of branches because I don't know if you've ever heard the term opportunities beget opportunities, but what it means is that the more you're out there working, the more you're going to discover the possibilities for you. This applies to video editing, but also a lot of other freelance work, freelance writing, graphic design, stuff like that. I've talked to other freelancers too before I put this together, so it's more than just my perspective. So, why freelance? What are the pros and the cons? The pros are no boss. You don't have to answer to anybody. You are your own boss. Make your own hours, so you can work whenever you want, as much or as little as you want, as long as you get your jobs done. And it's sort of like a safety net too. So if you start freelancing before you get out to a single employer, when you are having trouble with that employer, you know in the back of your mind, well, I could always go back to freelancing. So it can help you find a little confidence in the workplace. Who's edited before? Raise your hand if you've edited. Right, okay. Is it easy? No? Kind of? Do you think it's something that could become easy with enough practice? Yeah, everyone agrees. Bingo. Build your portfolio. This is the best reason to be a freelancer. You can build your portfolio. Does anybody know what portfolio means? Raise your hand. What is it? Collection of your work. Yeah, that's exactly right. The dictionary says a portfolio is a set of pieces of creative work that are collected by someone to display their skills, especially to a potential employer. So this is a true fact. I'm not making this one up. The word portfolio is Italian. It comes from 2 words. It comes from portere, which means to carry, and foglio, which means leaf. Portafoglio. Portafolio. It's an Italian word. I like how Italian is the only accent you can do without getting in trouble. One of the only accents. A pizza pie, a Mario, Super Mario. Okay, yeah. All right, so your portfolio is one of the best reasons to do freelance work. Not only are you getting paid for your work, but you're increasing the body of your work. You're increasing the examples you have of what you can do. And aside from that, it's also worth just creating projects for yourself, passion projects, something that you're interested in, something you like to see. Just start working on something, even if you're not going to get paid for it or if it's not for somebody, just to have samples of your work. A lot of you guys are in media classes right now, so you have like assignments that you've done and projects that you've worked on at school. Put that in your portfolio. And then no long-term commitments. So there's sort of a philosophical angle to freelance work that a lot of people don't latch onto right away. When you tell somebody that you're a freelancer, basically what you're communicating in a sense is that you're the type of person who has a certain degree of control over the business situation that you're in. You can choose whether or not you're going to work with somebody, which is a luxury that many people in the professional world don't have. You know, maybe your coworker is annoying or your boss is rude or creepy or something like that, and you just have to deal with it. Well, not if you're a freelancer. If you don't like somebody, they're out. You don't have to work with them ever again. Ideally. I mean, sometimes you're in a situation where you have to have a job, and so you got to put up with people, but the idea there is what separates a freelancer from somebody that works at like a regular 9 to 5. Okay, what are the cons? Let's go over these. Cost of hardware and software. You have to have your own computer, you have to have software to work with, and you've got to buy it. You've got to be the one that pays for it. Let's see, requires strict time management. Anybody a procrastinator? I am. Big time procrastinator. So you got to fight your procrastination. That's just the way it is. Because you don't have anybody to answer to, really, except the client. So, no workplace benefits. A lot of people who have a job have health insurance, you know, vacation, paid vacation, stuff like that. You don't get anything like that with a freelance job. And very little proof of employment. My first year, I had a lot of trouble with this. You can tell somebody you're a freelance worker, and half of the people will be like, what do? You sit around and play video games all day? Like, what does that mean? That anyone could say they're a freelance worker, right? So your best proof of employment are your tax forms, and you're not going to have tax forms when you first start. Not even until a year after you started will you have any tax forms to prove that you have income. The best thing you have to prove you have income are bank statements, and then you're opening your bank up for someone to look at, which nobody likes doing that. So those are some of the cons. It's not all good. There are some pretty bad sides to it as well. So here's the outline of what we're going to talk about. We're going to go over what you need, how to professionally present your work, how to charge for labor, legal information. Everyone's really excited for that. I can see your faces light up. And how to find clients. That's the most important thing, probably. All right, let's get started with what you need. A computer. Raise your hand if you don't have a computer. That's everybody. Everybody has a computer, so you have the most expensive thing you need to get started. High capacity storage when you're editing. I know a lot of you editors know when you're working with footage, sometimes that can fill up your hard drive. If you've ever been in a situation where your hard drive is full because you've got too many clips in your timeline, you've got nowhere to export your file. You're just stuck. So the last thing you're going to need in terms of stuff is the editing software. So this is actually probably going to be the trickiest one because especially now with the Adobe Creative Suite, there's a monthly fee to use it. So it used to be you bought it and then it was yours, but now you pay a monthly fee. You get updates. It's worth it because you get all of that great software, but it is pretty pricey. Good news is though, for students, I don't know if you guys know this, you can get Adobe Creative Suite for $20 a month as a student. You just sign up with your student email and you get like a $10 per month discount, which is pretty significant, especially when you add it up over the year. Buying in, part 2 of 3, this is some more stuff you'll have to buy to really make it work. A portfolio website. So, has anybody have experience working with websites, posting on websites? Yeah, you guys, okay, so there are services you can use to build websites. You don't have to have coding knowledge. You can go to Squarespace or Wix or something like that and design a website with a drag and drop interface. So if you need a website to show people what you've got. And I've got some examples here. Let's go ahead and check it out. Let's go ahead and look at some of these real quick. So this one is really nice. So right on this page, she's got a editing reel. That's the first thing that pops up. So you can see the work that she's done. There's her name, what she does, contact information, some of the work she's done, commercials, esports, music videos, fashion, trailers. Really high quality stuff. You get the idea. Let's look at another one. So this is Anthony Basilonio. This has got a cool little vintage effect on his video in the background here with a sort of VCR font. I like that. It's very stylish. And you know, you can design some of these websites that I have on here are made with Squarespace, which I mentioned earlier. But yeah, you know, services like that, you have to pay a monthly fee, you have to pay hosting, and then you have to pay a yearly domain name registration fee, which is like blah blah blah.com, like yourname.com. The other thing you need is business cards. So this is my card from Springdale Schools, so I wouldn't give this to somebody for freelance work. But the idea is that a business card is going to be your best asset. It's like a seed that you can plant that may grow into a business relationship. So if you want to be successful in a professional career, you need to have a business card. They're a casual and socially acceptable way to just say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do. If you want to work together, this is how to contact me. So there are going to be lots of opportunities to hand those out when you meet somebody in the professional world. So here's another thing. Now, I don't mean to pick on you guys, but I actually email quite a bit of students, and y'all don't know how to write an email. Bad etiquette is bad impression. So here's a little graph right here that was clients that were tallied on how much does email etiquette impact your decision to engage with a stranger. So this is really important. Look at that. A great deal is 16%. Quite a bit is 31%. Somewhat 31%. If you put all that together, that's over 75% of people consider it very important to speak to somebody on terms where they're going to be communicating professionally through email. I don't know what's going on with these guys. They just don't care. If you can go ahead and send a bad email, and 1 out of 4 people will respond to you. So I guess that's also pretty good. Here's the qualities of a good email: appropriate, proofread, proper spelling and grammar, proofread, clear, proofread, planned, proofread, professional, proofread, 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 contains a subject line, and respectful and polite. Subject line's a big one. People forget. You got to write a subject, man. Listen, some of the people you're going to be emailing, they get 50 emails a day or more. So think about it in that context. You're 1 out of 50. Make it quick, be polite, be professional, be clear, and then you're probably going to get a response. All right, next up is free resources. So you don't have to pay a dime for some of this stuff here. Web hosting, free web hosting. So I talked about paying for web hosting before, but there are alternatives. You guys are students, you don't have a lot of money. You can make a website now for free. WordPress is a great resource. Blogger is a great resource. The downside to free web hosting is this. You're going to get banner ads on your page. There's nothing you can do about that. Banner ads are going to, they have to make money somehow. And then the other thing is you won't have a domain name. So you won't have like myname.com. Like my name's Dustin Mapes, it wouldn't be dustinmapes.com. It would be dustinmapes.wordpress.com. So, you know, that's not exactly a good look professionally, but when you're young, it's all you got. Okay, social media. So this is free. Everyone has a social media, I'm assuming. Facebook is terrible. Everyone hates Facebook, but everyone's there, so you got to use it. Create a page for your business, for your brand, for yourself, to kind of show what you've been doing and have contact information there. LinkedIn, that's like Facebook for professionals. You don't have to be connected to your friends and family on there, just people you work with. Super helpful. And then also, somebody you've worked with, a client, can leave a review on your LinkedIn page so other people can see the reaction to your work from other people. YouTube, obviously, YouTube's super important, free video hosting. Free software. So there's some really great software that you can use when you're editing at home. I've got Audacity, Handbrake, and VLC here. Audacity's really powerful audio editing, open source, free. Handbrake is a miracle. I love Handbrake. It gets me out of so many binds. If you got a video that's just not working, Handbrake can convert it. It can turn any video into another type of video with no issues at all. I love Handbrake. And then VLC, super fast media reader, and tutorials are free. Don't never, ever, ever forget. If you don't know how to do something, type it into YouTube and just watch a video tutorial. How do I do a lens flare? How do I do this type of transition, that type of transition? It's all there. Don't forget about it. It's a great resource. All right, so labor. This is kind of a side note, but does anybody know why we celebrate Labor Day? Nobody? Nobody has any idea? Wow, okay, cool. History lesson. I'm just going to talk about this for a second. Labor Day is to celebrate the achievements of the labor movement. Has anybody not heard of the labor movement? In the early 1900s, the labor movement was a series of strikes and protests for better treatment in the workplace. So today we take things for granted that were achieved 100 years ago during the labor movement. We're talking about 5-day work week and weekends. That didn't used to exist. Minimum wage didn't used to exist. Benefits, vacation time. Nobody cared. Get to work. That was all you were told. Mandated lunch hours used to be you'd have to wait till you got home to eat. I mean, there are so many things that we take for granted today that were hard fought. And let me just give you an example. In 1914, there was something called the Ludlow Massacre. This is rough. In Colorado, there was a coal miner strike, and the National Guard fired guns into the strike, killed 20 people, over 20 people. We're talking about workers, women, children, because they were saying, hey, we're not going to take this anymore. You're going to have to treat us better. And then the response was, yeah, well, now you're dead. So luckily, freelancers have a lot more control over their job than coal miners in the 1900s. The downside is, though, that you don't have people to join along with you to create some kind of representation. You're your own representative when you're a freelancer. So here's something really important to remember about your labor, okay? If you take nothing away from this, take this. When you're negotiating the price for what you're offering, you are communicating the value of your work. So you're not just saying, I want this money, you're saying, this is how much it's worth, right? So one of the big risks for charging a low price is you might be saying, hey, my time isn't valuable. If you charge a low price, you're going to say, my work isn't as good as the rest of the freelance world. So take that into consideration when you're forming your price, and we'll talk about how to do that now. Okay, do the math. So let's figure out how to charge a client. And we're going to start with minimum wage, which is $9.25 in Arkansas. How long does it take you to edit? Anybody got anything to add? How long does it take you to edit? It's kind of a difficult question, right? Yeah. What's that? How long is the video, right? What kind of video? There are so many questions. It's hard to say how long it's going to take. So take your best guess. That's all you got, especially when you're starting out. Take your best guess. How long is it going to take me to make this? 50 hours. I'm going to take 50 hours to do this project. Now let's say that it takes more than 50 hours, but you told the client that you were going to work for 50 hours. That's the price you're getting. You can't go back to your client and say, oh, sorry, I was wrong. It actually took me 75, so this is your new price. You can't do that. That's totally unprofessional, and they're not going to want to work with you again. Just suck it up if you made a mistake and learn from it. That way next time you know something a little bit better. So let's do some math. Minimum wage for a 50-hour job. How much is that? It is $462.50. So that's how much you would charge if you were charging minimum wage to do a job. That was 50 hours. So now let's try this, $20 an hour. Now this is actually the average rate for a freelance video editor is $20. So some charge a lot more, some charge less, but if you put them all together, it evens out to about $20 an hour. That's $1,000 for a 50-hour job. That's pretty good money. That's not bad money. I mean, that's better money than you'll make at McDonald's, you know? And you made that yourself with no help. So you can also add costs to your fee. You've got labor, but there are other things that cost money for you to do this. So consider that when you're putting together your pitch for how much you're going to charge somebody. Software, we talked earlier, $20 a month for the Adobe Creative Suite. Well, let's say you have one job a month, right? You have one client, you've got one video per month. Add that $20 fee to what you're charging them. Then you don't have to pay a dime. The client is paying for your software. Now, here's something I really like because I'm a huge nerd, but depreciation cost. Does anybody know what depreciation cost is? Yeah, kind of, a little bit. So basically, this is a lot of businesses do depreciation costs to their equipment, right? So let's say you have a construction company and you buy a tractor for 50 grand. I don't know if that's a good price for a tractor, but let's just say it is, right? So you take the expected life expectancy for that tractor, right? You say like, I'm gonna pay 50 grand for this tractor and it's gonna last me 5 years. That's 5 years, that's $10,000 a year of the life expectancy of that tractor. I'm sorry, I know I'm losing some of you guys, but bear with me, it's really cool. You take that, you divide that again by 12, $1,000, you divide that by 12, that's your monthly depreciation cost. So you put that together over 5 years. If you add that depreciation cost to your fee, after the 5 years, you've paid off your computer, or the tractor. In your case, it would be the computer, right? You buy a computer for $500. You expect that computer to last 5 years. That's $100 a year. Divided by 12, you're looking at somewhere around, I don't know, $8, somewhere around that a month. That's your depreciation value for your computer. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. Let's talk about time management. So we talked a little bit about procrastination earlier. This is a big, important thing for freelancers, is to be able to have control over your time. Organize your files. I cannot tell you guys how important it is to organize your files, because the amount of time you spend organizing your files, naming them, putting them in proper folders to where you know where everything is, the more time you spend doing that, the less time you're going to spend searching for files. Have you ever been in a situation where you're doing a project? You know a clip exists, you know there's a file somewhere, but you can't find it. Has that happened to anybody? It's happened to me. Happened to you guys? You know what it's like. It's frustrating. And then you can spend who knows how long searching for it. That same amount of time you could have spent just naming your files and putting them in the right place. Set your working hours. So you start off your day saying, I'm going to work 6 hours today. You don't have a time clock. You don't have to, but you've got to enforce it yourself. I'm going to work 6 hours a day, and that'll help you too when it comes to putting together how long it's going to take. If you think that a project's going to take you 50 hours to edit, you say you're working 6 hours a day, 6 divided by 50, somewhere like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Again, I'm not a math guy. That is perfect. You can tell them it's going to take me 2 weeks to edit this. Now you know. Now they know. And you'll know how well you're doing as the week progresses. You're like, oh, it's like half of the week and I've only got 1/4 of this project done. I better hurry up. I better spend some more time on it. Better increase my working hours. Small goals and rewards for yourself for meeting them. Say you meet some kind of small little milestone in your project. You've got like all of your audio edited or something like that. Go play a video game. Check your Facebook, your Twitter or whatever. Get a treat, a little snack, a candy bar. Something to give yourself a little rush of dopamine, and that'll keep your brain sharp and it'll keep your brain focused. Take breaks, reward yourself. Prioritize wisely. So there are some tasks that are more important than others. Just do the important tasks first to make sure you've got them out of the way. Also, some of you guys will have homework while you're working too. So you've got to prioritize what's due when, how important is it, can I put this off, prioritize wisely. Eliminate distractions, that's another one. Put your phone in another room while you're working. You don't want it going bling, and then you're checking your messages. Next thing you know, you're scrolling through Twitter, you're on Reddit. Oh no, I've wasted 3 hours, I haven't got anything done. Bad time. So remove your phone, put some headphones on, listen to music, get in the zone. Procrastination is the enemy. You have to fight your procrastination. Ask somebody to check up on you, right? If you got a friend or a family member, you can, hey, can you do me a favor? In an hour, can you come and make sure I'm working? I mean, it's kind of lame, but it'll keep you accountable. Or maybe you can you could also just meet with the client, like have a halfway done meeting with the client. Say like, hey, I want to meet with you this and get some feedback from you. That way you have some accountability for your halfway point. Rephrase your internal dialogue. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Oh God. So eat an elephant beetle every morning, first thing in the day. So anybody, have you heard that expression, eat an elephant beetle? So it means do the thing you hate first, right? Just get it out of the way. Once you've done it, then the worst part of your day is over, and the rest is smooth sailing. Rephrase your internal dialogue. Framing is really important for your mental, thinking through things. Don't say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. It may be true. You may not want to do something, but you can reframe it in your head. I don't want to do this, but I do want to prove that I can. So I really want to prove I can do this. That can help motivate you. All right, so now we're done with that. It's the time for the most exciting part of this presentation. I'm super excited. When I bring up this topic, I'm sure you guys are going to jump up and dance for joy. The most exciting thing about freelancing is income taxes. Anybody know why we pay income taxes? Anybody? Yeah? Fund the government, right? Policemen, firefighters, roads, things we use every day, school, the very reason you guys are here right now, all paid for with taxpayer money. So, you've got to pay your dues whenever you're working. You've got to pay your income tax. First thing about paying taxes. I am not a tax professional, so I can't tell you anything. All right, we're done. No, I'm just kidding. Again, I'm not a professional, so don't take my advice for gospel. You've got to talk to tax professionals when it's time to file your income tax. Has anybody filed income tax before? You guys have? You filed income tax? So not a lot of people. So you're going to be filing income tax for the first time coming up after you graduate from school and get a job. So this is some important stuff to know. For the first year, file your taxes with a professional tax company. So I'm sure you've seen them, especially from January to April, H&R Block. You see these businesses pop up. Liberty Taxes are right over there on Sunset, right over here. There are companies with people who are paid. They know tax law. They can file your taxes for you. You have to pay them to do it. It's a service. But at least for the first year, get some help from a professional because filing taxes for freelance work can be pretty challenging. Ask as many questions as you can when you're working with a tax professional. Figure out what they're doing. And then next year or the year after, whenever you feel comfortable, you can start filing your own taxes and save that money. Keep that money. Put it in your pocket. And we're talking upwards of $100 to $200 for filing your taxes. So it can be pretty pricey. Ask the professionals about untaxed hobby income. So this is, again, I'm not a tax professional, but this is possibly one option for you if you're freelance working and you make less than $6,000 a year. So that's one $500 job per month and you're still under that threshold, right? So if you make less than $6,000 a month, you can classify your income from that service or good as a hobby income and you don't have to pay taxes. That's my understanding. Again, don't just do it. Talk to the professional, see if that's an option for you. You have to withhold your own money. So when you have a job with a company or an organization, they do something called withholdings, which is every paycheck, they'll take some money out and set it aside for tax season. And then, have you guys ever been with your parents when they got a tax check? They got their rebate from the government? Yeah, big money. You get your money back because they've been holding your money. It covers their tax bill, and then whatever's left over, you get to keep. It's yours. It's like a bonus. It's your money, but it's sort of kept and held for you for tax season. It's also an incentive to do your taxes. But yeah, when you are a freelancer, you have to withhold your own money. So here's a good rule of thumb. Set aside 20% of every paycheck. Every time you get paid, put 20% in a savings account. You're not going to pay 20% in taxes, hopefully, unless you did something terrible when you were filing it. But if you have 20% set aside, you're going to cover your tax bill, and you're going to have a little extra at the end, sort of a little bonus for yourself, basically like you got your tax check. When filing, deduct everything you can think of. You can put deductions on your taxes to get money. You've already paid taxes for a lot of things, so you don't have to pay taxes twice. Just put down, I paid for this for the purpose of making money, so that money is deducted from the amount you owe. So software, I pay $20 a month, I pay $240 a month or a year for software. So that's $240 you can deduct from your taxes. Hardware, your computer, deduct the cost of your computer, anything you bought, a hard drive, anything you bought to help you get on the road to freelance editing. Gas for travel, if you're traveling somewhere to meet with an employer, a client, write down how long you traveled, write down your mileage. You can get that money back. And then keep all your business related receipts. Start a file, anything you buy for your business, for your organization, for your freelance work, keep it. You can deduct it, and then if you get audited, God forbid, you have proof that you didn't just make that up out of thin air. All right, so very last part of the presentation. We're almost done here. So this is possibly the most important thing that you will need to know, is how to connect to clients. This is how you get your jobs, this is how you get your money. So let's consider these face-to-face interactions. Dress nicely. I'm gonna go over some real basic tips. Dress nicely. Don't smell bad. Stand up straight. Stand up straight. Look people in the eyes. Ask questions, smile a lot. You guys probably already know all this. But perfect conduct is easier said than done. You have to actually put your best foot forward, make an effort. So there are two distinct groups of clients. There's remote, local, like I was talking about. I have primarily worked for remote clients, but consider this. You've seen the booths over there, you've seen the industry. Arkansas is growing with film production, so there's more opportunities every day, especially Northwest Arkansas. So where can you find these clients? Right here, right now. This is a perfect opportunity to find people to work with. Ozark Media Arts Festival is designed to connect education to industry. You're supposed to be here to find jobs and get connected with people who can hire you. Trent Jones, he founded this festival. He founded it to help students, to create a pathway for students to find jobs in the broadcast and film industry. Did anybody play OMAF bingo yesterday? Anybody? There are bingo cards that you could have filled out when you were going to each of those booths. You know what I'm talking about. So this place is designed to get you talking to people, right? If you had like a bunch of business cards, you could hand those out at those booths. Listen to what they had to offer, then offer what you've got. So like, hey, I'm an editor. I'd like to work with you. If you have any openings, here's my card. Call me. Side note, I know a lot of young people have a hard time talking to adults in a professional context. So, first of all, you have to deal with adults kind of looking down at you, sometimes literally, but sometimes the way they're speaking to you. Just don't take it personally. Do your best. Many grown adults will give you credit for trying to act like a professional. So just put forth an effort and you'll get rewarded. So another place to find clients, Bentonville Film Festival, a lot of industry people there. That's more towards the end of the year. Fayetteville Film Festival is great. It just ended, so that's more geared towards local filmmakers, but there's a lot of local industry there too. So go to festivals, meet with people, give them your card. Conventions. Conventions are always happening. The Springdale Convention Center is right down the road on Sunset, and there's conventions like every week. If you're looking for people to hire, if you're looking to get jobs, those are made to network. Just look at the schedule online for convention centers. You'll find something. I know it's cliche, but job fairs. If you're looking for a job, job fairs have them. You're not always going to find what you want, but there's no harm in going. There's no harm in going and looking and see what's on offer. Word of mouth is obviously the best way to get clients. If you really impress one of your clients, they're probably going to tell their friends and colleagues. They say, I worked with this guy or this girl. He was super fast, super professional, and you can get jobs that way. All right, last slide, how to find remote clients. So, passion projects. Everyone here knows how to edit. Everyone here has something they're interested in. Raise your hand if you like to go to YouTube and check it. Almost all of you guys. I'm the same way. I love YouTube. I've got lots of creators that I follow on there. If you've got something you like, just do it. Just make it, upload it. Work on your brand, start refining it, have some work out there. Talk to other creators that are like you online. You can network with people online as well as in the real world. So talk to fellow creators through Discord, social media. Just reach out. Say, I really like your work. I'd like to work out sometime. You can basically cold call through email. If you go to a YouTube page that you like, a lot of them have business emails there. Just, it's not guaranteed to work, but find that business email, send them a message, say, hey, are you looking for an editor? I'm an editor. I would love to work with you. That'll help out. That could be another possibility for you. Try a freelance website. So there's lots of freelance websites you can sign up for to meet with potential clients. I've never actually used one, but they're worth checking out. They're worth trying out if you really want to get your foot in the water. So there is Upwork.com, Fiverr. I'm sure people have heard of that. You can charge more than just $5 though. You can charge $5 an hour, something like that. Freelancer.com is another freelance website. Indeed.com, LinkedIn. You can get connected with professionals online. We talked a little bit about LinkedIn already. So let's just recap real quick. What are clients looking for? Clients are looking for these traits right here: professionalism, confidence, speed, efficiency, quality deliverables, and clear communication. So if you have these qualities, if you can try your best for these qualities, you're good to go. So what does professionalism mean in this context? I'll spell it out. It means don't get angry. Don't focus on yourself the entire time. You have respect and awareness for other people and their time. Don't gossip or spread rumors in the professional world in the context of that. Real professionals are good at keeping their feelings to themselves. Even if you hate somebody, you have to be nice to them. That way you're communicating to everyone else, I'm safe to associate with. So just keep your temper in check, and that's the best advice I have for professionalism. Confidence, don't feel bad for charging high prices. We talked earlier, what seems pretty high is average. $1,000 for a 50-hour job, that's good money. That's money that you deserve because you have a skill. You can edit. A lot of people can't. So you got to think about it like that. Don't apologize unnecessarily. So does anybody have a friend that apologizes too much? Anybody, you've met someone like that? It's exhausting sometimes because, there's many reasons why. Just don't apologize unless you really need to. And don't rely on positive feedback to feel good about your work. You have to find, validation from within. If you're waiting for someone to tell you did a good job, you're not going to get that. And then you're going to be resentful. Just don't do it. Just find it from within yourself. Get it done quickly. Don't miss deadlines. Don't cut corners. Be very clear about your expectations. And there we go. That's all of that. So in conclusion, you guys are in a great position to start freelancing. If your cost of living is subsidized in whatever way, you live with your parents, you have grants, scholarships for college, your living expenses are paid, freelance work is a great way to make some extra money and to build your portfolio. You're in a perfect position. Start thinking about your career right now. It's never too early. I know you guys are in middle school. Start thinking about your career. What are you going to do when you get out of school? It comes faster than you think. Present your work as a professional, have a website, have your business cards. Don't devalue your time. Oh man, I went to the wrong slide already. There we go. Don't devalue your time. Always set aside a little bit of money every time you get paid. And reach out to people at festivals and places like this. Give them your card if you have it. So there we go. Anybody have any questions? Anybody want to know anything? Yeah? Okay. So you're asking what type of skills? Can you say that again?
What kind of skills, in the actual software and in the media, do you think are valued the most?
What type of skills within the software are valued the most? So, like I said before, organizing your files is a big deal. I don't know about valued by other people, but it'll certainly be valued by you if you organize your files. Another thing is organize your workspace on your editor. Adobe Premiere, you can modify everything about your workspace. Get rid of things you don't need. It's taking up screen real estate. It's going to make your job last longer. It's going to be harder. So set up your workspace, set up your files, and you'll be a lot faster with it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah, what's up?
I know that a lot of clients expect you to know everything, how to animate, how to color, how to design.
Yeah.
Is there a way to narrow down, to get a client to basically say, hey, this is what I can do?
Yeah.
Entire window still?
Yeah. So here's a good tip. If somebody's like, hey, can you do this? Tell them, hey, that's an extra fee, right? And then it'll take longer, right? So that's a win-win, because if they say yes, you're getting more money and you're trying something new. If they say no, well, there you go, you don't have to do it. But yeah, if people don't know what they don't know. You know, they're talking to an editor, they're like, what, you can't do this in 5 hours? What do you mean I've got to provide footage? What does that mean? Sometimes you're going to deal with people like that. You just have to do your best to explain and be patient, be professional, and that'll help you out with that. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you very much for coming. It was super cool to see you all here. I appreciate you giving your time. If you want to contact me, I've got cards right here. I'll give you one. I can communicate with you through email, answer any questions you might have. There you go. So thank you for coming. So there you have it. That was the conclusion of the presentation from last year, but just a few more things before we conclude this video. Some more free software. First, an image editor called the GNU Image Manipulation Program, GIMP. This program is an open source competitor for Adobe Photoshop, and while it doesn't have all of the features of Adobe Photoshop, it is still a very powerful image editing tool for the low price of $0. Another free open source program is the video editor called OpenShot. So theoretically, you could start a career as a digital media creator with only a computer. You don't actually have to buy software if you really don't want to. One extra resource, when it comes to negotiating with clients, one very important topic that I left out of last year's presentation was contracts. Many casual business relationships are done with verbal agreements and a handshake. Certainly many of mine were. But contracts are a much more formal way to solidify the terms of an agreement and bind each party to those terms. If someone does something and they're not abiding by the terms that they signed, that party becomes vulnerable to legal action. But what makes a contract valid in the legal system, you may wonder? Anything. If it's written down, it has a signature, and a transaction has occurred, that makes the contract valid. It could be on the back of a pamphlet you wrote, it could be on a torn out piece of cardboard, on a napkin. All of those things can serve as contracts as long as it has those traits that I described earlier. Write down the terms of your agreement on the piece of paper, have both parties sign it, and now both parties know exactly what to expect and exactly what is expected of them. It can reduce the chance for misunderstandings, and it can create legal repercussions if you happen to engage with somebody who intends to take advantage of you. You may want to write your own contracts, but if you search Google for contracts in your freelance field, you can often find many free examples that you can copy and modify and use those as you see fit. So there it is. That's just a few extra tips for working as a freelancer. I hope you found something valuable in this presentation. I want to stress again, I do not claim to be an expert in any of the fields that I discussed today. This is just my personal experience. So thanks for watching. Good luck on your contests and enjoy the rest of OMAFX.